Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again. While I'm well rested, I'm doing another movies with numbers in the title, part deux. And this is a film I just saw on the Sci-Fi Channel tonight. I had a good time. I had some issues with it, but it's Sharknado 5 Global Swarming. Now, I saw all these Sharknado movies ever since the first one came back way back in 2013. I find them to be a lot of fun. It's gory. It doesn't hold back. I mean, it has the same cast throughout most of it, especially Ian Ziering and Tara Reid. They're in all the films, and they make me laugh my ass off. This movie did for at least the first two-thirds of the film. It had kind of the same problem, I would say, that the third act of Wonder Woman had. That it was kind of like rushed and kind of was down, like more serious and downbeat. And I'm like, don't really care for that kind of ending. Basically, I'm gonna give some spoilers. So if you do want to see this movie, I know some of my friends aren't because they're not a fan of this franchise, but people that do on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, because the film trended on Twitter as soon as it was over. It's a fun movie though. The first two-thirds, basically, the Sharknadoes are showing up all over the world, and Finn and Nova from the first film and the third film and the fourth film, they have to go find this Finn inside of an artifact. Is basically the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark, but unlike The Force Awakens, it doesn't rip anything off. It does shark stuff instead of the rolling ball or this idol or killing off. No, it doesn't do any of that. It just homages it in a good way. And they take the fin out, and it has like a tracking device, a button that will show the location of the Sharknadoes, and their son Gil falls into one of the Sharknadoes, and they have to spend almost the entire film trying to find them. And basically, the Sharknadoes take them to different places in the world. They go to Italy, they go to Japan, they go to Egypt, they go to Switzerland. There's a cool scene on the snow mountain where Finn and them are skiing or snowboarding, and they're cutting the sharks left and right. It's a lot of fun. Like, the movies know what they are. They're not trying to be Jaws. None of these movies are Jaws, not even close. And basically, yeah, there's a lot of cameos. You have Chris Kattan plays a Brit, which was hilarious because he's not a Brit. You have Olivia Newton-John. She plays one of the scientists in Australia. You have Margaret Cho. You have Gilbert Gottfried again, Al Roker, Kathleen Lee Gifford. You have freaking the Pope played by Fabio. This is the kind of movie you're going to get, people. You're not getting War of the Planet of the Apes. That is not what this film is. It's not. It only gets dead serious near the end because I'll spoil it in a little bit. But I like the cast. Cassie Skirbo gives a really good performance in the movie. There's a scene where she cries, and it was believable. It didn't seem forced. And Ian Ziering does a good performance, like he always does in all these movies. Even Tara Reid, she goes, and it still makes me laugh. I get more of a reaction from her than I do with the hobo. I promise I'm not going to give the finger because I do that in almost every video, and I want to be a little bit different. I'll try to hold my birds. The bird. Anyway, the film, it's bloody. People they get squished by the sharks. They get their heads bitten off. They get speared by the sharks. It's crazy. It's a lot of craziness. And what would I rank this one? I don't think it's the best sequel. I think it's a little bit better than 4. But like I said, the only thing that doesn't work in these last 3 sequels is the ending, because they do like these cliffhanger endings and then I have to wait another year for it. And I'm like, I don't want to wait that long. I want to see the sequel like tomorrow, but that's the way things go. But the third act, I'm going to spoil it. This is my biggest problem. It becomes dead serious. Like, they go to Japan, and then there's a Sharknado that turns into like a Sharknado Godzilla. Like, it's attacking people in Tokyo, and Bailing throws a Pokeball at it, which is hilarious. I was laughing my ass off. You have a Japanese girl playing Pokemon Go on her phone. That was a cool callback. There's an old man that says, "Hey, look, I got a tweet," and yeah, there's a lot of stuff a lot of social media stuff that people recognize from now, just to be hip. But anyway, basically, Nova tries to save Gil in the Sharknado, and she falls and then supposedly dies. But I'll get to that at the end. And then they have to try to go back to to a temple to put the fin back into where it belongs, so that the Sharknadoes can go away. And basically, they do that, and Finn, and his wife, she goes Super Saiyan or something, and she goes and does all this power and shoots like a shockwave around all the Sharknado beams, and it stops the Sharknadoes from sprouting, and then basically the world is destroyed. Why this didn't depress me as much as Man of Steel? Because in Man of Steel, the city got destroyed and it stood that way. They didn't go back in time and fix that in BVS. But anyway, basically, most of his family dies, but there was a Deus Ex Machina before the movie, before the ending, where Finn's wife, April, played by Tara Reid, she throws 3 coins inside of a fountain in Italy and says that if you make a wish, it'll come true. And basically, that's what happens at the end. Dolph Lundgren shows up at the end credits, like near the end, in a Jeep, and he says, "Hey, Dad, it's me," and it's Gil. Basically, he's older because the film now introduces time travel, which, hey, at this point, I'll take anything that I can get because time travel is the only way to save the characters from the fifth movie from death, which I really like. Yeah, I wish that we could go back in time and erase Rogue One from happening because that movie, everybody dies and it's pointless. Or The Force Awakens, I would go back in time and not kill off Han and let the hobo die instead. That would be my way of fixing things in the past. But anyway, Finn and Gil, they reunite, they hug, and I like seeing Dolph Lundgren there. I always enjoyed his action films. I like Master of the Universe. He was great in the first Expendables movie. I enjoyed the command performance and the Killing Machine and a bunch of his other direct-to-video stuff. He's still a great actor. I don't want to hear, oh, he's a horrible actor. He's much better. He's done better now than Arnold's done recently, like in the last 5 years. But anyway, he says, "Oh, we're going to go back in time and go back to the beginning so that none of this happened. The world isn't in ruins, and we're going to save Mom and the family." Basically, setting up for a sixth movie. I hope to God this gets a sixth movie because I don't want a downbeat ending for this franchise. I just don't want that because that would really sour my mood. But the first 2/3 of the film made me laugh. I laughed when one of these musician guys, I think it was Michaels or something like that. I don't know what his name is. He has a guitar and he's playing, and then he gets squished. That was pretty funny. There's a scene that Finn is jumping on the shark and he's riding the shark, which is a lot of fun. And there were things that Tara Reid's like, and it made me laugh. It made me laugh intentionally. And these films are just full of this craziness. And yeah, it is what it is. I know not everybody's gonna like this film. I enjoyed it. It's not gonna be in my top 10 of the year. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna do a top 15 instead of a top 10 because there's other films coming out that I might want to put in my top 10. And I don't think 10 spots is gonna be enough. So top 15 of this year of the best. The worst is gonna be a bottom 5, and I have some honorable mentions here and there. But anyway, Sharknado Globe 5, Global Swarming, for what we got for a fifth movie, it's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. And it's a lot better than Jaws 4, where they did kill off the lead character from the first two films, and they insult you with stupid logic that the shark travels from one spot to the Bahamas. I'm like, screw that movie. I hate that movie. This movie I can see way better. They actually filmed on location, so it's not just CGI. Yes, the CGI is campy. It's not great, but I would take, you know, average CGI over big budget CGI that looks like shit that costs $200 million, like the CGI Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One or CGI Princess Leia. That looked horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Or the bad CGI in Jurassic World with the Indominus Rex, or the bad CG in The Amazing Spider-Man. I'm not gonna let that go. That was terrible CGI for a $200 million budget. Or other movies. There's just so many bad, worse movies. And I'd rather see this movie again than Suicide Squad, which also had laughable CGI, and the movie's ending didn't save that. And I'd rather see this more than freaking what else? Like, there's a lot of Sci-Fi Channel movies I think are way worse, and it's not the worst franchise of all time. I have seen much worse on TV, direct to video, and in the theater. So I can vouch for that. I have a ton of movies that are B movies. These are B movies. They're not for everybody. But the fact that we got 5 of them, that's more. That's 3 more than I thought we were going to get. I thought we were going to get 2, and that would be it. But no, this film franchise is a phenomenon. It's a cult phenomenon, just like a lot of B movies in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, and even nowadays. And I'm fine with it. It's an enjoyable film. I would give it like a 7 out of 10, only because the third act kind of got too serious, and I don't like when they do a tonal shift. They go from really campy and fun to like, oh, everybody's like most of the cast is gonna die, but they have to do time travel to save them. So I'm like, okay, if they do the time travel thing in 6, I'll forgive this one, like what they did with Rocky Balboa. That they fixed 5 and they made it better by giving Rocky one more bout in the ring, and he doesn't win, but he goes out with a bang. Here they could do the same thing. I think They do a 6, end it. Just end it at 6. Don't do like Fast and the Furious and go to 8 films without the main star. That is insulting to me. Screw that movie. I would never see that movie this year. But anyway, Sharknado 5 was a lot of fun. I had fun watching it with my mom, spend a lot of time with her, so I'm grateful for the time I have with her, and I had a good time. So sue me for that. I'm not going to put in my best of the year, but it's going to be in my honorable mentions because I like all these films for what they are. They have rewatchability over other films that so it's not like Alien 3 where everybody dies and like most everybody dies and the movie's downbeat from the get-go. Here, at least I had fun. So that I'm going to rant on later, Alien 3, because that movie sucks no matter what cut of it you see. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. I would recommend it for you guys anyway. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review with movies with numbers in the title, part 2. Later.